Do you have enough light in your life? Are you soaring in the joy around you? Are you stuck and unable to make life happen? Stay tuned for the Rabbi Jenny Show, where you will learn how to bask in the light and find more joy and meaning in life. Call to talk to Rabbi Jenny at 888-565-1470 and email questions and comments at rabbijenny.com. And now, if you're ready, stay tuned for the Rabbi who will light your world on fire, Rabbi Jenny.
Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. It's Rabbi Jenny. I'm so thrilled to be here. It's my best moment of my week. And I want to give you some notice that you can check me out live on rabbijenny.tv. You can also listen to us right now on iHeartRadio, and I will put the show up on YouTube. Check out the past couple weeks on shows that'll catch you up to some of the topics from tonight. I want to wish everybody a happy Passover and remind you of the two main ideas of the Rabbi Jenny Show. Those are this: the world is happening for you and not to you. And that's 100% of the time. That's idea number one. The second idea is this: why is it happening for you and not to you? Because you are divine love light energy and you are always expanding, always 100% of the time. So remember what I tell you, folks, that no matter how life looks or what's going on in your world, if it feels like it's happening against you or it's happening not for the goodness of your life, something is changing. Something is changing within you, around you, the people, the places, the things, to make you become the best version of you, the best person that you can be. So tonight's topic is, of course, inspired by Torah. And it's not inspired by the portion, it's inspired by the holiday, Passover. Last week we talked about freedom, and we talked about freedom inspired by the Israelites seeking freedom. And this week we're going to talk about emotional freedom. We're going to talk about the power of our emotions and how we can channel them in healthy ways and kind of get into the zone. And I have to tell you that the topic, listeners, started out one way, and then I start to play with it, and things happen during the week, and things change. So we're going to go into this kind of lesson on how to get in the zone. My Celtics lost last night. It was a very sad night. But what I did think about when I was thinking about this show is what makes the difference between a player on the court that is in the zone and one that isn't. And it's usually their emotions. Are they letting their emotions get the best of them? So our inspiration comes from this. It's going to sound strange, but it comes from the story of Moses. We want to get ourselves into a Moses state of mind, listeners. I always say that all the characters in Scripture are actually different parts of you. There's the Pharaoh, and then there's Moses. Now, Moses does not let his emotions have power over him. He has complete focus, and this is demonstrated by the parting of the seas. So what happens in the story is this. Moses and the Israelites get to go away. They run. They get to the sea. Moses parts the seas, and they walk across. Pharaoh comes to the seas, tries to walk across. He gets flooded and dies, right? So what's the difference between Pharaoh and Moses? And that's the question that I wanted to ask myself. And I went and I did all sorts of research on the ideas of emotions and how we don't let life sweep us away. And a lot of times it involves owning them. It involves writing about them, talking about them. But then I got really caught up in this idea of the zone. And I figure, I found the Italian psychologist who coined the flow or the zone calls it this. He calls it a single-minded immersion, an ultimate experience in harnessing emotions in the service of performing, not just containing and channeling, but positive, energized, and aligned with a task at hand. And of course, I was watching basketball, so I was thinking about all the people that I've ever seen that are in the zone. All the people that I've ever seen that no matter how loud all the fans are screaming, no matter how many seconds are left in the clock, they still hit that three-pointer. They still, jump up over someone's head. How do they do it? How do they align with the zone? And, the thing is that they just practice things regularly. They master their mind. The idea, and Oscar Wilde said this, which I really love. He said, I don't want to be at the mercy of my emotions. He said, I want to use them, I want to enjoy them, and I want to dominate them. And Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote this famous book, Eat, Pray, Love, Julia Roberts was in that movie, she said, your emotions are the slaves to your thoughts. And you are the slave to your emotions. So if you harness your thoughts, if you hone your thoughts, you can control your emotions. So we got to look at that a little bit, and we got to think about it. And we think about all great athletes. And of course, I went to Larry Bird because that's of all people. I'm really going with the Celtics theme. We're on game 6. It's a very important time in the series. And Larry Bird said this: I wasn't real quick and I wasn't real strong. Some guys will just take off and it's like, whoa. So I beat them with my mind and my fundamentals. So the message on the Rabbi Jenny Show is the same one I've given you the last couple weeks. Remember, we talked about the 3 Ps. We talked about prayer, we talked about people, and we talked about purpose. So the first thing you have to do to get a handle on your mind is to center yourself. You're going to center yourself in some sort of a prayer. You're going to have to get back in touch with the fact that you are divine love, light, energy, and you are always where you're supposed to be. But you can't do that when you're in that fit of emotion, when you're in that fit of rage or fear or any of those emotions that carry us away. They sweep us away like the sea swept Pharaoh away. So we get into prayer. Maybe we talk to somebody. Remember the people. We get people around us. We get back into reality where we are. And then we get connected to we focus. We get connected to our purpose. What are we doing? Why are we here? And then the next week we talked about we talked about going outside and noticing everything. But this week we're going to talk about 2 things that are really, really, really important for gaining control and channeling your emotions so you can stay in the flow and you can stay in the zone of your life. And those 2 things are journaling and meditation. They are essential, and I want you to remember jam, okay? Because we know we do the Jenny Jam at the end of the show. We're going to play a little Michael Jackson because we have to, and Space Jam, basketball. Anyway, so we're going to talk about jam. We're going to talk about journaling and meditation and why those things are so important. Now, these aren't things that you can just say, I'll just do it once in a while. Larry Bird didn't throw a basketball once in a while to master his emotions. He knew he was going to hit the shot because he hit the shot 1,000 million times in practice. So you can't journal once in a while. You have to journal every day. You have to understand the way you feel, the way you think, what makes you afraid, what triggers you, what freaks you out. Today at work, freaked out, totally freaked out. Like overwhelmed by 50 things. Employees didn't call. They called in sick. There wasn't enough people. Blah, 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 blah. I sort of freaked out. I had no control over my emotions. Good thing I know these things that I teach you. So I got myself in my office, managed not to verbally hurt anyone in my surroundings. And then I prayed and said, please remind me that everything's okay. Remind me that I'm okay. And then you center. You either write about it, you write about the situation if you have time, or you just do a simple form of meditation. We've talked about meditation on the show, and some great athletes talk about how they do this focused meditation. Now, meditation does not mean that your mind shuts off. Now, if you're listening, that's important because I know some of you are so scared away from meditation because you believe it means your mind has to be quiet. That someday you're going to get to that Buddha state where you're sitting on a mountain and you have a quiet mind. Well, that is not what meditation is. So I want to encourage you right away to invite meditation into your life because meditation means to train the mind, to know the mind, to witness the mind, to become aware of the mind so you can move forward. So the first meditation you can do when your emotions get out of control is you can actually become aware of your surroundings. You can count 5 things in the room that you are. You literally can name and 5 things that are in the room that you are. I'm in a room right now. I have 2 cameras, a light, a microphone, and the table. I'm here right now. None of the craziness in my mind, none of the craziness in my emotions is anywhere near me. As I've begun to meditate, I've become present in the moment. Now, the image of Moses standing on the bank, it always blows my mind. This stuff blows my mind, listeners. He's standing there, and the image that they choose to use in Scripture, because I'm not here to get in the debate whether it really happened, because right now, it's 2016, really doesn't matter to me. To me now, I see it as a story, and you're at the edge of this bank, and you can part the waters. You can part the seas of your emotion. You can lay out a staff and say, you know what, I want to lay that out. And I have to tell you, I read this amazing article because I really go a little nuts when I go on here, listeners. And I read this article, which took me to the zone and took me to the flow and took me outside of what I was going to talk about before. And it's written by a professional pool player. Okay? I love the internet. Didn't like it for a long time, but, you can really find some cool stuff on it. So this professional pool player, pool with the balls, Paul Potier, I believe he's from British Columbia. I don't know anything about pool, but when I put in channeling emotional energy in athletes, he came up. And he talked about how he was playing a player in the semifinals. And pool is one of those things that if people play pool and you watch them, they are in such a zone and they are in such a focus. And I feel like just one slight move emotionally can just screw the whole thing up, right? So he literally like leaned over the guy he was playing, and he was leaning over to see how he was what do you call it, racking the balls, because I guess there's different ways to rack the balls. I had no idea. This is fantastic. Okay, but you can like kind of raise one up. I mean, there's ways to like manipulate and pull. I didn't know that. So anyways, listeners, so he literally just leaned over to look. He wasn't trying to intimidate this guy or anything, but the guy thought he was. The guy thought that he was trying to like peek in on his game, right? So the guy describes that feeling that he got was like he used it as motivation and focused. And the guy that wrote the article said then he just killed him. He just like killed him. Every single shot after that went in, the game was over. And the man who wrote the article was completely baffled because he could actually see the emotional energy of competition, the emotional energy of excitement did not go in the typical way of distraction. Instead, this man focused. And the only way we can do that is through these regular practices of training our mind and understanding who we are. And the only way, listeners, you can understand who you are is if you spend time with yourself. And the only way I know to do that is journal, go outside in nature, meditate, sit in quiet. You got to spend time with yourself. Remember, you came in alone, you're leaving alone. You might like your company. You might start to enjoy the miracle that you are. I want to talk about how your emotions can get the best of you so you understand why it is so important and how we can relate it to the Pharaoh. Because Pharaoh, I mean, he was kind of like all over the place. You know, he had a resentment bigger than life. He didn't want to let his people go. But we're going to get back to that. We're going to talk about how our emotions get the best of you. We're going to introduce some fabulous guests. This is Rabbi Jenny talking about channeling your emotion and getting power over your life. Talk to you in a few. Hi, it's Rabbi Jenny from the Rabbi Jenny Show. Are you planning a wedding, baby naming, or bar bat mitzvah? Have you recently adopted a pet, bought a new home, or opened a new business? Do you have an important anniversary coming up and would like to renew your vows? Have you recently lost a loved one and need some compassion and care through this process? These are some of the many life events that touch our lives. It is at these moments that we need a special person for guidance and compassion and care to officiate and guide us through those moments. Call me, Rabbi Jenny, at 561-346-8207 to guide you and officiate these life events. 561-346-8207. Rabbi Jenny, for personal compassion and care and loving guidance for the important events of your life. The presidential candidates are talking about it. The talk show hosts are talking about it. It's all over the news. Maybe it's time you should start talking about it. Maybe it's time for you to get help. If you or someone you love is suffering from a heroin addiction, Epiphany Resources has the solution for you. Heroin addiction manifests in an apathy and a disinterest in life. At Epiphany Resources, Rabbi Jenny and her acclaimed clinical team reignite and empower their clients to embrace life for a bright future in recovery. With groundbreaking creative and spiritual modalities combined with narrative reframing and cognitive behavioral therapy, the team at Epiphany Resources neutralize the cravings for heroin and reawaken one's desire for joy and life. It's time to talk about it. It's time to heal. It's time to recover from heroin addiction. Contact Epiphany Resources at www.etcfl.com or call 561-777-0241. Epiphany Resources. It's time to begin. The after-school hours between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. are when millions of children go home alone or are without adult supervision. Statistics have shown that during this time, gang involvement, teenage pregnancy, and drug use begins. For the past 15 years, For the Children, Inc., a place where children come first, has been a pioneer in providing quality after-school programming for underprivileged youth aged 5 to 18 in Palm Beach County. Our children are our future. To ensure their success, they must have equal access to quality educational, personal growth, and leadership tools. For the Children, Inc. provides them all. Donate now to For the Children, Inc. at www.forthechildrenfirst.org.
This public service announcement for the Children, Inc. was brought to you by the law offices of Manjula Caladini, Esquire, concentrating in immigration law. www.immigrationassociates.net. You have been listening to Rabbi Jenny, who asks, are you ready to bring more light and love and joy into your life? A spiritually uplifting show that will change your world. Call in at 888-565-1470 or email at rabbijenny.com and share your thoughts with Rabbi Jenny. Now, back to our show.
Always. Hey, it's Rabbi Jenny. Welcome back. We're talking about the power of your emotions and how important it is to channel them and make them your friend so you can move forward in life. Before the break, we were talking about ways that our emotions actually distract us and how the character of Pharaoh is a perfect example of that. Before that, though, Nietzsche, of all people, has a great quote about this. He says, one ought to hold on to one's heart. For if one lets go, one soon loses control of one's head too. And if you know the story of Pharaoh, the story goes that his heart was hardened by God. So Moses kept saying, let my people go, let my people go, let my people go. And then at the same time, he was grabbing a hold of Pharaoh's heart and saying, no, 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 no. And in my analysis of that is it's an example for us of how God or the divine force within us causes this little struggle so we break free and move forward into our life. How emotions can get the best of you. And if there's people listening, I know that there are people listening actually that are in a situation that you're paralyzed. There's something in your life that you're completely paralyzed about and you need to move forward. And there's some issue emotionally that's keeping you from doing that. Now, all the emotions do it in a different way. Anger can lead you to do things that you'll regret, right? Let's see. Anxiety causes you to waste time worrying. Frustration can lead you to just give up. And Pharaoh did all of these things. Okay. He was afraid he was going to lose all his money because he let his slaves go. He ran into a big ocean like a fool. And he gave up, essentially. Sadness can call you to withdraw. Wasn't a sad guy, so that didn't hurt him. Fear causes you to avoid, not so afraid. Excitement. This is really, really important for you excitement junkies who think that because you're all revved up, you're actually achieving something in your life. No, no, no. Excitement causes you to overlook risk in your life. It actually causes the horses to go into the sea chasing the slaves, blah, 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 blah. Drowned, okay? It wasn't a good ending for Pharaoh and his men. They were excited, though, okay? So we have to watch our emotions, and shame can obviously cause you to hide. So it's really important to use the tools that we talk about on the show because you can really, truly learn not to cause too much damage. Our emotions are our gifts. I mean, if you didn't feel anything, listeners, life would be weird. Like if you didn't cry when you were sad and you didn't laugh when you were happy, why live? Okay, so I'm not saying you're not supposed to have emotions, but your emotions are not supposed to master you. Just like we always say your mind's not supposed to master you, you're the master of your car. You drive it, you got a head, you got a heart, and you got a gut. But you're the driver. But for so long, we're so used to these things just riding us along. So we have to remember to journal, we have to meditate, we have to pray, we have to go outside, we have to be with nature. And now we have to introduce our Tom, Dick, and Harry.
You're telling me Rabbi Jenny will talk to any Tom or Dick or Harry? Any Tom, any Dick, any Harry,
We have two wonderful guests on today. They are the co-founders of Clean Slate. We have Michael Christie and Dave Foose, some friends of mine. Hi, guys.
Hi, Jenny.
How are you?
Good.
Tell us about Clean Slate. What is Clean Slate?
Clean Slate started as... Clean Slate is a referral source for people in need of resources regarding addiction, alcoholism. Clean Slate started... Go ahead.
Up to the mic a little.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Clean Slate started about a year ago. Myself and David, through just working a program and doing what we do, started realizing that a lot of people don't know the resources that are out there to help them. We started encountering a lot of mothers that didn't know that there were resources to help their children. And so what me and Dave kind of did is we brought sort of a personal side to what we do. It's not like just, hey, call, give me your information, and good luck kind of thing, here, go there.
So wait, for the listeners, let's pull it back a little bit. So Clean Slate is actually involved in placing people with substance abuse and addiction problems
Yes.
into treatment so they can get the help that you need. So you
Yeah.
kind of help, essentially pull people off the streets and get them the help
Right.
they need.
Right.
Just so people know. So you focus mostly on mothers. How did that happen?
How that happened was we came across a couple mothers, and it really just spread through word of mouth. We would find that we would be in contact with these mothers for maybe a week or more. It could be a month while their son or daughter is out ripping and running and doing whatever it is that they do.
Right.
And I would kind of take time to relate to them, point out, explain to them, look, this book is for me. It's for me to read, but this is, kind of what's going on in your son or daughter's head and why you can't get to them and why you can't fix them. It's not a reflection on you. They're suffering from something, a spiritual malady, as my book calls it. So we would spend a lot of time speaking to them, and eventually when they would come in the door, we'd have a plan in place as to how to approach their son or daughter or husband or wife or whatever it was. And put that into effect. And it was kind of easy for Dave and myself to be effective with people,
Right.
being that we suffer from the same thing that these people suffer from.
Right.
They can, play the cards with their parents or loved one pretty well, but I know what it is. I know what they're suffering from because I suffer from the same thing. And it's pretty easy to get through to them and, get them to at least give it a shot to change their life.
Sure. Now, if there are parents listening and you have children suffering with substance abuse, there are a lot of emotions. We're talking about emotions on the show today. What kind of emotions do you encounter with some of these parents that make it difficult for them to move forward? Like I know that as a parent, you think it's all your fault, or that you're the one that's supposed to fix it because it's your problem. What kind of emotional things do you see that block parents from getting their kids to move on?
Well, I mean, for me, I saw that addiction was a family disease, and I know in my own life, and it's touched my family throughout the line. Myself and my brother are both personally in recovery, and I know that my mom blamed herself for a long time. So that blame, she carried that, and the worry, the sleepless nights, the things that are, they limit her from doing the things that she wants to do. And she was, basically handcuffed by what we were doing.
Right.
In addition to that, you'll end up with parents who fall on the other side,
Right.
that they're blind to this. They shut off. I forget which one you mentioned there, that, causes you to kind of just ignore what's really going on. And in that, you're actually keeping your child sick because you're allowing them to continue this behavior while just turning a blind eye and not dealing with the emotions and all of the things that come, involved in this process.
It's scary, though, I think, to turn your child over to other people you've never met.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think it's a frightening thing. I think also with the heroin epidemic, it's just frightening altogether. I think there's people in the suburbs going, "Are you kidding me? My kid's on heroin. What's going on here? This is unbelievable." What is something you would want parents to know about Clean Slate and about what you guys do to encourage them to move forward? Because I think that the longer you hold on, the more, like you said, you block your kid's chance. So,
Right.
What would you like to say, Michael?
I'd like to say that, it's important for parents to understand that they can't fix the child or the loved one, that they have to realize that they need help and that they're an addict or an alcoholic on their own, and that they could be enabling, like, that saying, like, your family will love you to death kind of
Right.
thing, you know what I mean, that they have to let them go, that the results, like what's going to happen is in God's hands, and that all they can kind of do is drag the process out, you know what I mean, let God kind of take the wheel, and some other people, some other addicts and alcoholics, we've got to get them that spin dry in treatment and then make the spiritual approach to them to get them real help. Okay. Clean Slate personally has a network of mothers. Hello to all my mothers out there. My mothers are awesome.
Right.
That's kind of like something we're relatively small thing.
And you have a mother.
Yes, and I have a mother. Yes, hello, mother. But through doing this and having that personal side of things, like
Right.
with the families, I know whose mom went through the same thing and who can jump, their kid was in this type of situation, and put them on the phone with another mother who can kind of, because you said it's hard for families to let the kid go. So
and there's a lot of shame.
Right.
It's a secret.
Right.
You don't want other people to really know what's going on.
But they can kind of say, like, kind of back me up, and they do all the time, that, like, hey, what he's saying is right. And whether their son or daughter or loved one has been successful or not, they know that everybody that has been involved in that loved one's recovery has done everything that they can. Lots are successful, some aren't. It's the way it goes.
And what do you do for the mothers themselves? Like, I mean, do you offer support for the family members? Because, part of this is like they're living their life through their children, and it's time for you to go get a life. Like, it's time, like David was sharing. Like, what kind of services do you actually offer for the families? What kind of support do you do for that from that end of it?
There are some smaller, on a more local scale to where these people come from. I think the most important thing is that empowerment, is the finding the heroic action, in going through this and sharing that experience with someone else. I think that's the basis from which the parent can also grow. And finding that, depending on where they want to be, either you can join a support group or you can start a support group, and we'll help you, give you the resources to link with other mothers who have been through the same, the same situation, and meet for support and grow that network and tell your experience to help someone else.
And what is the website? How do we get? Oh, it's on the screen. But for our listeners, we got 561-289-7709. CleanSlateResources.com. If you or your loved one is fighting addiction. And now we get to the important part of the show, Michael. You get to go first. Where do your emotions get in your way?
Where do my emotions get in my way? Everywhere I turn.
You got saved by the song, but we'll be right back to talk about Michael and David's emotions and how they gain power over them. This is Rabbi Jenny. We'll be right back. The presidential candidates are talking about it. The talk show hosts are talking about it. It's all over the news. Maybe it's time you should start talking about it. Maybe it's time for you to get help. If you or someone you love is suffering from a heroin addiction, Epiphany Resources has the solution for you. Heroin addiction manifests in an apathy and a disinterest in life. At Epiphany Resources, Rabbi Jenny and her acclaimed clinical team reignite and empower their clients to embrace life for a bright future in recovery. With groundbreaking creative and spiritual modalities combined with narrative reframing and cognitive behavioral therapy, the team at Epiphany Resources neutralize the cravings for heroin and reawaken one's desire for joy and life. It's time to talk about it. It's time to heal. It's time to recover from heroin addiction. Contact Epiphany Resources at www.etcfl.com or call 561-777-0241. Epiphany Resources. It's time to begin. The after-school hours between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. are when millions of children go home alone or are without adult supervision. Statistics have shown that during this time, gang involvement, teenage pregnancy, and drug use begins. For the past 15 years, For the Children, Inc., a place where children come first, has been a pioneer in providing quality after-school programming for underprivileged youth aged 5 to 18 in Palm Beach County. Our children are our future. To ensure their success, they must have equal access to quality educational, personal growth, and leadership tools. For the Children, Inc. provides them all. Donate now to For the Children, Inc. at www.forthechildrenfirst.org.
This public service announcement for the Children, Inc. was brought to you by the law offices of Manjula Caladini, Esquire, concentrating in immigration law. www.immigrationassociates.net.
Hi, it's Rabbi Jenny from The Rabbi Jenny Show. Are you planning a wedding, baby naming, or bar bat mitzvah? Have you recently adopted a pet, bought a new home, or opened a new business? Do you have an important anniversary coming up and would like to renew your vows? Have you recently lost a loved one and need some compassion and care through this process? These are some of the many life events that touch our lives. It is at these moments that we need a special person for guidance and compassion and care to officiate and guide us through those moments. Call me, Rabbi Jenny, at 561-346-8207 to guide you and officiate these life events. 561-346-8207. Rabbi Jenny, for personal compassion and care and loving guidance for the important events of your life.
You have been listening to Rabbi Jenny, who asks, are you ready to bring more light and love and joy into your life? A spiritually uplifting show that will change your world. Call in at 888-565-1470 or email at rabbijenny.com and share your thoughts with Rabbi Jenny. Now, back to our show.
Hey, it's Rabbi Jenny. I'm here with Dave Foose and Michael Christie from Clean Slate, and we're talking about the power of emotions. And Michael is saved by the break, but he's not going to be saved anymore because, Michael, we need to know. You spoke about your own journey, your own struggles. Where do emotions you think block you most in your life?
What do emotions block me?
Get close to that mic, mister.
In life. My emotions. You know what? I try not to let them block me so much anymore because even this is uncomfortable, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm here doing it. That's like one of the things I've learned in my recovery so far is that, being uncomfortable is good. So I mostly run by fear and stuff like that. So I try to like avoid it now. But, growing up, I let fear block me from doing a lot of things, playing sports. I might not be good or whatever it is. I really let fear run my life and anger. Everything was everybody else's fault. That was like my story. Growing up, everything's everybody else's fault, and that's why I like your work so much, the hero work. That's why I think that's cool because, if you knew what I was going through, you'd be like this too, And
it takes you where you don't want to go.
Right.
So it motivates you, but it motivates you somewhere else.
Right.
You're kind of letting other people write your story.
Right.
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 So what I was thinking when you were talking is like, I think that when we master certain feelings, other feelings become uncomfortable. So we learn to channel our anger and our fear, and then certain emotions like just peace are a little elusive, maybe.
Right.
Just sitting still, maybe, might be an emotional state that's difficult.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Sitting still is. I found a new.
That's a highly manipulative moment.
I found a new thing though. The cigar bar. That's where I spend some time at every day. I go there. I smoke a cigar and I sit down and I turn the phone off and I just enjoy the cigar.
Okay,
So that's a new thing I'm doing.
That's new. Don't smoke a cigar. This is the Rabbi Jenny Show, highly anti-tobacco. But okay, so that's progress. That's progress, and that's a form of like sort of meditation. I think.
Absolutely.
I think. And what about you, David? Where are you with your emotions?
Well,
What's your biggest block, you think?
Definitely the sitting still. For me, I used to be pretty wholly run by emotions. I mean, I became a cheerleader once for love. You know what I mean?
A
like
cheerleader?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like an actual cheerleader?
Actually, literally became a
Like
cheerleader.
were you the bottom of the pyramid?
No, I was the one who would throw the girr up in the air because she liked me.
That makes sense
you
to
know?
me.
And-
That makes
and-
sense.
right.
Okay.
But that was I've actually found a place, and it's through some of the things you mentioned earlier, the spending time in nature. At night I'll go to the beach and sit out there, and that's one of the favorite things that I get to do. So I've been a little bit better with my emotions, except for finding peace. Totally manipulative moment. What I've actually found though is now I'm much more receptive to everybody else's emotions.
Right.
And I haven't found how to block that out. So other people's emotions their energy feeds my emotions.
Well, I mean, there's kind of like a study that's if you know who you are, then the feelings of other people don't move you around so much because you know where you're coming from. And that's where kind of like the idea that we're talking about the jam, the idea of meditation and being with yourself and getting to know yourself through journaling is like, so you're not reacting so much to what other people think. Maybe, if you're like at a staff meeting at work, you guys, these guys work with me and I know who you're working with in an office with now. Hi guys. But sometimes like people are acting all sorts of ways in a staff meeting and they look funny or they look stressed or they're whatever. It has nothing to do with you. Like absolutely nothing to do with you. But if you don't feel good about yourself or you aren't centered in who you are, you will think it does.
Right.
It's kind of self-centered, right?
Right.
So how do we get out of that? How do we get out of that self-centered thing, you think, Mike?
I have no answer to that at this point.
Yeah, can you tell us?
Yeah. Well,
That's
you guys
why
do,
I
but
come
you guys
sneak an
do
hour
it
in your
at
office every week.
free therapy. No, but they have to say you guys do it. So you guys are a really good example, especially of two of the P's. You know, maybe a little prayer would help. You know, 3 P's are really important: prayer, people, and purpose. But as far as purpose, that's how you do it. You get out of yourself and into purpose. And I think that when we do so many things to serve other people for so long, and we figure out who we are, what our calling is, and what our purpose is on the planet, after a time, people can't shake you around. So I think some of it is time, but then you have to pray. You know, like today, I wouldn't have been able to change if I prayed. Do you guys pray?
Every morning and every night.
What about the in-between times, people? Hey, why does the conversation stop?
Just all day.
Yeah.
All day. Everybody else's
Stuff.
all of those things and
Come in.
Yeah.
So what do you think you could do to remind yourself? Oh, like prayer's a tool. I think prayer feels goofy to some of us because it's got to be in a certain way if we were raised a certain way. But go ahead, Mike.
I mean, the thing, Dave was my sponsor when I first started, when I first got sober. And, you know, what works the best? Throw your keys under the bed. It's like you hear that all the time, and it works. Throw your keys under the bed. Your pack of cigarettes, you smoke, throw it under the bed. Your
Right.
phone under the bed. Whatever it is, you know, if you don't try, there's something that you need every day you can throw under the bed that forces you to get on your knees and take that second. You got to reach under there and get it, right?
Right. But you guys are like in the big leagues now. Like for our listeners now, like you may be sober, you may be clean, you may be on the journey like Dave and Mike, and it really is like you do get on your knees and you get on them at night and you can't wait to get on them at night. But it's that I swear it's that in between time.
Right.
Like the idea, like how do we remember to do that? I mean, a Post-it in your car, like I don't even know.
I
Like
forget a lot.
CDs.
It's usually when I get so furious that I'm about to, you know what I mean? It's like when the pain becomes great enough. When
Right.
throughout the day, when I get so angry and I'm ready to snap or something like that, or so frustrated with somebody that I just gotta stop and breathe and go, oh, thank you. Thank God. Sober, X, Y, and Z. Okay, next. Let's go.
So we're gonna pray more, right? This
Yes.
is their free session this week. You're done. You're cut off. Okay, so we want to talk more about Clean Slate because we have
Right.
a few more moments, and I want to talk once again. We're going to remind the listeners 561-289-7709. You can get cleanslateresources.com. Talk some more about Clean Slate. Give us one of your best stories. I want to hear. I mean, I've seen them. I've met them. Some of the guys that Mike and Dave have helped. I actually helped some of them myself. But give us like a real proud story of somebody that you didn't believe got better.
Somebody that I didn't believe
Like
would
was
get
just
better.
like a great that you just like this was a struggle for you to get him into treatment and now he's doing great.
A guy that I met in recovery who is still with us today. Nobody would even take a shot on him because I didn't want to say his name out or
That's
places
fine,
or
that's
whatever.
fine.
You know, nobody would take a shot on this guy. And
When you say that, was he on heroin? What did he? I mean, like I
he
would
had just been around and pretty much burned every bridge possible that he
Okay.
could, and now he sponsors other guys. You know, I couldn't get anywhere to accept him or give him a shot, and me and Dave, we have a house that we help guys out with and stuff like that, and we took him into the house, and when he first walked through the door, the way he was talking, I was like, oh man, you know, this guy. And now he is sober and sponsors other guys. He's made it through his steps. And another good one. You know, one of the first times I was like really proud was a kid had, ran out the door at some place in California, a treatment center out there, and was wandering the streets.
Wow.
And I got in touch with this mother through somehow, and she was telling me this, and within 12 hours we had a van go pick her son up and get him to a safe place, to another center, where he successfully completed and got a little bit of time under his belt and stuff like that. He's still battling in and out today, and I'm still very close with that mother today. But really, just that was the first time that like a mom was like, I didn't know people like you were out there.
Right.
Because Because a treatment center is one thing. Treatment centers are great. But when the
Right.
kid walks off the property, where's the guy that's waiting there in his car?
Right.
You know what I mean? To talk some sense into him and take him out to dinner and say, yo, play your plan out for me. What are you doing? You know what I mean? Or when they walk through the door at 5 a.m. and strung out, you know, who are you calling?
And so basically, I mean, I think it's like you guys just don't give up. Like it isn't like,
Right.
you know, I'm done with you. This is different. This comes from a place of purpose.
People didn't
and-
give up on me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's their responsibility now, is to not give up on other people. You know, because I was a bottom of the barrel dope fiend with nothing. You know what I mean? Nothing.
Now he's got a
Nobody
cute
wanted
wife
me.
and a big house.
Now, I'm
It's
rich
true.
on the
It's
rich
true.
on the
It's true.
inside
It's
type
true.
thing.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true for people to know. Go
you
ahead,
know,
David.
To me, I've seen it's not, and bring it back to your sports analogies, it's not 3 strikes and you're out. You know,
Right.
it's not any strikes and you're out. I've seen people go on to lead successful lives on their 20th attempt.
Right.
And that, you know, to put some years together and start to build a career and a family and own a home and do those things on try number 20 or 21.
And it's not really try number 20. And that's what I try to tell the kids when I work with them. Life is just different. You know, when Bill Wilson, the founder of Recovery, got sober, he got sober after being in and out of sanitariums. And for years and years and years, they just didn't have treatment centers. They just didn't have white chips. They just didn't have 12-step meetings. And so it's so public now.
Right.
You know, but it's the same bounce along the bottom. It's just you're doing it in like a public arena. And I think it's actually a deterrent. It actually makes it harder. But it isn't that you're unusual. You know, because it's 20 times. Everybody should probably get sober 5 years before they do. Everybody. And that's just part of the journey that you have to hurt, like Mike was sharing.
Right.
So what would you want the listeners to know in the last few moments about Clean Slate? Well, one thing you just want them to know. I mean, call. We want you to call, okay? If you have somebody
I want you to
suffering.
call, and I want you to know that you can call us for advice, whatever it is that you need. I've got somebody who's willing to speak to you, or I'll speak to you. Anybody, any one of us at any time, 24 hours a day, call that number. I'll answer it. I'll sit there and talk to you for 2 hours about whatever's on your mind, and we'll figure it out.
Except for that hour where Michael's going to be praying and meditating
Yes.
and spending with his family. And what are you guys going to do for your emotional power? What are you going to do? What are you? Come on, tell me what you're going to do this week
What am I going to do?
to have power over your emotions. Before we go to break,
I'm going to get to that beach more at night.
get to that beach.
I'm going to get to my cigar bar.
Okay. All right. Oh, jeez. All right. We'll be right back. This is Rabbi Jen. The after-school hours between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. are when millions of children go home alone or are without adult supervision. Statistics have shown that during this time, gang involvement, teenage pregnancy, and drug use begins. For the past 15 years, For the Children, Inc., a place where children come first, has been a pioneer in providing quality after-school programming for underprivileged youth aged 5 to 18 in Palm Beach County. Our children are our future. To ensure their success, they must have equal access to quality educational, personal growth, and leadership tools. For the Children, Inc. provides them all. Donate now to For the Children, Inc. at www.forthechildrenfirst.org.
This public service announcement for the Children, Inc. was brought to you by the law offices of Manjula Caladini, Esquire, concentrating in immigration law. www.immigrationassociates.net.
Hi, it's Rabbi Jenny from The Rabbi Jenny Show. Are you planning a wedding, baby naming, or bar bat mitzvah? Have you recently adopted a pet, bought a new home, or opened a new business? Do you have an important anniversary coming up and would like to renew your vows? Have you recently lost a loved one and need some compassion and care through this process? These are some of the many life events that touch our lives. It is at these moments that we need a special person for guidance and compassion and care to officiate and guide us through those moments. Call me, Rabbi Jenny, at 561-346-8207 to guide you and officiate these life events. 561-346-8207. Rabbi Jenny, for personal compassion and care and loving guidance for the important events of your life. The presidential candidates are talking about it. The talk show hosts are talking about it. It's all over the news. Maybe it's time you should start talking about it. Maybe it's time for you to get help. If you or someone you love is suffering from a heroin addiction, Epiphany Resources has the solution for you. Heroin addiction manifests in an apathy and a disinterest in life. At Epiphany Resources, Rabbi Jenny and her acclaimed clinical team reignite and empower their clients to embrace life for a bright future in recovery. With groundbreaking creative and spiritual modalities combined with narrative reframing and cognitive behavioral therapy, the team at Epiphany Resources neutralize the cravings for heroin and reawaken one's desire for joy and life. It's time to talk about it. It's time to heal. It's time to recover from heroin addiction. Contact Epiphany Resources at www.etcfl.com or call 561-777-0241. Epiphany Resources. It's time to begin.
You have been listening to Rabbi Jenny, who asks, are you ready to bring more light and love and joy into your life? A spiritually uplifting show that will change your world. Call in at 888-565-1470 or email at rabbijenny.com and share your thoughts with Rabbi Jenny. Now, back to our show.
Hey, welcome back. It's Rabbi Jenny. We're talking about your emotions, how powerful they are, and gaining control over them so you can move forward into your life to become exactly who you would like to be. Get back on path for what you choose. We are ready, I think, for the Ridiculous Joy Jar Challenge.
Joy, 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 joy. It's Adeline Gobergstein, and it's time for the Rabbi Jenny Ridiculous Joy Jar Challenge.
Hi, who's on the air?
Hey, hi, this is Joe Suarez. How are you?
Hey, Joe Suarez, what's up?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know. You know about the Ridiculous Joy Jar Challenge?
I don't know much about it. You throw it at me, and I'll try to work it.
Okay, you got to tell me 10 things that make you ridiculously joyful in your life, and then you can promote anything you want on the Rabbi Jenny Show.
All right. Do you want? Okay, that's a hell of a question. Okay, so do you want meaningful things that make me happy, or stupid things like a good slice of pizza?
I would like a big combination of stupid and meaningful things.
Wow. All right.
Okay.
Man, all right. All right. I'm driving, so I'm gonna have to. Okay. First, I guess the first thing that makes me super happy is faith. Is my faith in something else, and the faith that someone's watching over me, and that type of feeling. I think it's a very joyful feeling. So I feel really good about that. And I guess if somebody's going to keep count, I guess. I don't know how many you want.
10.
Oh, 10. Okay, so listen, waking up is an incredible feeling for me every single day. Just getting up and waking up and understanding I have another opportunity to get it right, and just
Love it.
Another chance, All right, let's go. Another thing is family. I spend all my life just working hard to make my family, as secure as I can. So the joy and the unconditional feeling that I get from my family makes me super happy. It's the basis of my day and why I go home and why I can't wait to get home. So, okay, I don't know how many that is, but okay.
Keep going. I'll stop you.
All right. Next, I would say it makes me incredibly joyful to live in this beautiful country that we live in and to have everything that this country affords us in liberties and freedoms.
Nice.
I'm an immigrant from a communist country, and I appreciate this country a great deal. So this country makes me really, really happy. So that's another one. Let's see, what else? All right, my job. My job makes me very, very happy because I really enjoy the concept of working in the first place, whether I was working in a car wash or whatever. But I happen to have a very meaningful job where I get to help other folks and every single day, and I don't charge anybody anything. And it's a tremendous feeling for me to go home at night feeling uplifted by my day of work. So that makes me happy.
Okay, give me a couple more. I want some stupid stuff. This is all very meaningful. Give me a couple stupid things.
Stupid. All right, stupid is I love and I have so much joy from my dog.
That's not stupid.
My dog's name is Jeter. And
okay.
He is the most incredible. He's a family member. He waits for me unconditionally. It doesn't matter whatever happens with me, that dog is there to love me and just hug me and kiss me and can't wait to see me every single day. So that's kind of a silly one, I guess.
Okay, one more.
One more silly or one more real?
Just the last one. You got, Joe.
Hey, listen, just the love of my family, the unconditional support of the people around me, watching other people around me become better people and trying to inspire and help people. That's it, man. I like great pizza. I like a nice cold drink at the end of the day. Like a nice, for example, a nice melon ball on a hot day.
Nice.
After a workout is awesome. So I don't know. I don't know how many you want. But
That is
that's what I got
perfect,
for you.
Joe. Now, what would you like to promote on the Rabbi Jenny Show?
Well, what I like to promote is actually what I do, which is really a service that doesn't cost anybody anything. For the last 12 years, I've been helping veterans and their spouses over the age of 65 to receive assistance at home, like home care at home or assisted living services. I've helped over 2,500 families and veterans to get all
Wow.
this care. And in 12 years, I've never taken a nickel from a veteran or a family member. And this is a benefit that's been out there for 60 years that I would love everybody to know about. Obviously, we don't have the time for that, but this is the joy of my life is what I do, is helping people and not charging them a nickel.
So tell me how they get in touch with you. How do they get in touch with you, Joe? How do veterans and their families get in touch with you?
All right, if you want to hear more about what we do, our local number is area code 954-510-3313. Our website is veterancare, one long word, .us, like United States. And you can call me personally anytime you want. I'll give you my cell. It's 954-501-6806. And anytime anybody needs anything, even if I can't help them, I'll find a way to help them. So please reach out. If you're a veteran or a spouse, I want to help this community. It's the most important community, I believe, in our nation. And I'm here to help out if I can, okay?
Thank you so much. That's veterancare.us. Thank you, Joe, for calling the Rabbi Jenny Show. Have a joyful evening.
Thank you, Rabbi Jenny. Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right. That was wonderful, wonderful. Remember, we're talking about the power of our emotions and not being swept away by them. And I think it's time. I think it's time for the Jenny Jam.
Yo, 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 jam, jam, Rabbi Jenny jam, jam.
Let's see how this one goes, everybody. Oh, we got a little drum. Swept away, my love, check it down. Swept away, my love, check it down. Oh, Lord, let me pass through. Oh, Lord, let me pass through. There's an ocean of emotion and it's running through you. Be swept away or walk on through. The choice is yours, you know what to do. Better let it out, better let it out. Release your piece on the paper. Don't stuff it down, it'll take you. Like a big old wave, it'll break you. Better let it out, better let it out. Swept away, my love, check it down. Swept away, my love, check it down. Oh, Lord, let me pass through. Oh, Lord, let me pass through. It's a short one tonight. We cut it short. Let me pass through. We're going to talk about getting power over your emotions. This is the end. This is where we light you up. It's Rabbi Jenny. Thank you for joining me this hour. We're talking about channeling our emotions. First, before we go into this last bit, I want to thank my sponsors, Epiphany Resources and Manjukaladindi. Please, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to talk about a few things I don't want you to forget. We're going to make a commitment this week to spend time with ourselves. We're going to remember the 3 Ps. We're going to remember to pray. We're going to remember to connect with other people, and we're going to remember to get close and centered in our purpose through the jam. Okay? Remember the jam. Remember the basketball connection. We're going to journal, and we're going to meditate. We're going to make the commitment. Go out, listener. Get yourself a journal. Okay? A notebook. Go to Walgreens, for God's sake. Just get a notebook. Open it up and say, today I feel blank. Today I feel nothing. Today I don't want to write in this stupid journal. Whatever it is, learn to enjoy your own company because you are divine light energy. God has never made anyone like you. That is the most wonderful thing about human beings, listeners, is that we are all created completely differently. It's strange that we all try to be alike. I can't really figure that one out, why we're not just sitting in front of people and looking at each other in awe of how amazing we are. But we're not. But you should be amazed by you. So let's just review a couple of things. I found this amazing article on the emotion machine online that talks about constructive ways to channel your negative emotions. So we talked about prayer, we talked about people, and we talked about purpose. We talked about going out in nature, the one, okay? And we talked, remember, about JAM, journaling and meditating. I don't want you to forget those, listeners. But I also want you to know that there are some other things out there for you to help you. One of the key things that I notice in my clients and for myself is music. You know, you may say, oh, Jenny, you're silly jam every week. What is that? What is that? That is like an hour of my week where I just sit and I just write a silly song. And it completely changes my mood. Put on some headphones. Put on some music that you listen to at a time in your life when you are happy. Or, even better yet, go to Barnes & Noble and just walk around up and down the aisles and pick something new. I just got the new Jill Scott, Woman. It's unbelievable. This is Rabbi Jenny. Remember, you are divine. Love light. Keep shining. This is one to re-listen to. Thanks, Clean Slate. Bye-bye.
You have been listening and lighting up your life with Rabbi Jenny. Join us next week for another session of love, light, and joy as Rabbi Jenny takes life to the next level. Are you ready? Rabbi Jenny says the time is now.